Your relationship with Jay-Z has had its ups and downs. How do you reflect on that dynamic now? And do you think it's possible for you to collaborate in the future?
It's another good question. This is a good question. Look, Jay-Z, a lot of people don't know. It's a funny situation with Jay-Z because I knew Jay-Z before he got popular.
I said the Roc Nation brunch ain't of nothing but Jay-Z putting a bunch of on the lawn and then going in the back door and saying, I told you I still run this shit. Give me the money.
Did Jay-Z really try to ruin Gillie Da Kid's career? Camron and Gillie just put HOV on blast, and the accusations are wild. If you thought Jay-Z's control freak allegations were just industry gossip, think again, because the stories coming out now are making him look real shady. Gillie just exposed how Jay tried to lock him into a slave deal, working like crazy while barely making a dime. And it doesn't stop there. Apparently, Jay had a habit of controlling artists under Roc-A-Fella, and if they didn't obey, he'd allegedly blackball them, shut down their opportunities, and completely wreck their careers. Now, if you know Camron, he isn't one to hold his tongue, and he's got plenty to say about this. But here's the real question. Did Jay actually threaten to take Gillie out? The drama is getting real, so let's get into it.
Dame was gonna make me the president of Roc-A-Fella.
That's his office. Was that has to do with this office you was talking about earlier?
No, we just housed the office.
He housed the office.
That was a closet.
Okay, that wasn't the same time he was the president?
It never really came to fruition, me being the president.
You being the actual president. Okay.
He wanted to make me a president.
Okay.
And I don't think he talked to Jay about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I it,
Jay-Z's ruthless business tactics are nothing new, but the stories just keep piling up. More and more people are coming forward claiming HOV did them dirty, whether it was by trapping them in slave contracts, cheating them out of deals, blackballing them, or even allegedly threatening them if they didn't fall in line. And now Camron is spilling even more tea about what really went down at Roc-A-Fella. Cam has been very vocal in recent interviews, exposing how Jay-Z treated him when they worked together under Roc-A-Fella Records. And trust me, the drama runs deep. For a little context, Cam got signed to Roc-A-Fella through Dame Dash, who was his childhood friend. At the time, Cam was coming off a terrible record deal with Tommy Mottola's Sony Epic Records. Before that, he was signed to Lance Rivera's label, which also fell apart when it lost funding. Basically, Cam had already been burned by the industry. So when he got to Roc-A-Fella, he was ready to grind and make things happen. And that's exactly what he did. In 2002, Cam dropped his third and most successful album, Come Home With Me, featuring major names like Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and Memphis Bleek. He even had superstar producers like Kanye West and Just Blaze working on it. That same year, Cam starred in Paid in Full, a movie produced by Dame Dash, alongside Mickey Pfeiffer and Wood Harris. His career was booming. He was climbing the ranks at Roc-A-Fella, making big moves and cementing his place in the industry. But here's where things took a turn. Allegedly, Jay-Z wasn't happy about Camron's success. See, Jay had a habit of making sure he was always the biggest name in the room, and he wasn't about to let anyone outshine him, especially not someone he didn't personally co-sign. And Cam, he was winning, thanks to his hustle, talent, and ability to network with the right people. That reportedly didn't sit well with Jay. So what did he do? Allegedly started working behind the scenes to block Cam's success. And it all started when Jay-Z reportedly tried to control who Cam brought around, even if they were there strictly for business. Camron explained that when he first got to Roc-A-Fella, he tried to be cool with everyone. He knew the label already had its own structure, and he wasn't trying to step on anyone's toes.
when I got to Roc-A-Fella, you know, I ingratiate myself with everybody.
That's a big word. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm trying to everybody.
Okay, all right,
I'm trying to say, they already have something going, and I know.
Ingratiate. Look that up later.
Yeah. Trying to
You're like fast-tracking your situation.
Trying to be cool with everybody, because y'all got your own thing, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to come in here and seem like I'm stepping on whatever.
But Jay, he wasn't about to let Cam just slide in and do his thing. The first red flag? Cam brought DJ K Slay into the office, thinking nothing of it, but Jay-Z was heated. Why? Because K Slay had played Ether, Nas' diss track against Jay-Z. Jay apparently still had a grudge over that, so when he saw K Slay at Baseline Studios, he told Cam, "You gotta be careful who you bring around here. I might have just slapped the F out of K Slay." Cam was confused. He had no idea there was a beef between Jay and K Slay, but he shrugged it off and respected Jay's space. But things only got weirder from there. Camron started noticing that every time he approached Jay with an idea, whether it was hopping on a record or signing off on a deal, Jay would give give him this weird energy, like Cam would be in the studio trying to collaborate, and Jay would just look at him like, that's cute. He wouldn't say it outright, but the vibe was off. Cam was heating up in the industry, and Jay felt it. One day, Jay straight up told him, "Yo, it feels like there's some tension here." Cam, being direct, told him, "If there's tension, let's clear it up right now." Jay agreed, and they did a song together. But here's where Jay-Z's real power moves started. Cam was working on a song with Petey Crack, and just before the track was supposed to drop, Jay-Z stepped in and made Petey delete Cam's verse, just like that. Camron wasn't about to let that slide, though. Years later, after leaving Roc-A-Fella, he got his revenge by removing Jay-Z's verse from one of his own songs.
When I got to Roc-A-Fella, shit got a little. Dame had different distribution. He had Elektra, he had a whole bunch of different, besides Def Jam Roc-A-Fella. And I told Dame before I went to Def Jam Roc-A-Fella, I don't want to come to Roc-A-Fella at Def Jam. Let's do Roc-A-Fella, Elektra, Atlantic, wherever you have a distribution. Like, Cam, Def Jam's the move. I'm telling you, this the best bet because I got over there in the choco. I said, all right, cool. But I came out of the bad situation. I knew I was already getting jerked, so pause, when I was at Epic. So I'm like, when I come up there, I'm gonna be a monster. I came up there, did what I did, got cool with Def Jam, Kevin Loud, shout out to Kaiser, Julie Greenwald, Leo Cohen, of course, the whole staff at Roc-A-Fella, but I was moving too fast for them, my opinion. Not Jay-Z, Dame, or Biggs, other artists. You gotta realize it's a lot of personalities you gotta deal with.
It all came to a head in late 2002 when Dame Dash made a bold move that would shake up Roc-A-Fella Records forever. Without consulting Jay-Z, Dame decided that Camron should be the new president of Roc-A-Fella, with Benny Siegel as his vice president. For Cam, this was monumental. After years of grinding in the industry, proving himself as both a lyrical powerhouse and a business-minded artist, he was finally getting the recognition he deserved. The Diplomats were making serious waves. His solo career was on fire. And now, Dame was telling him he was about to have a seat at the table, not just as an artist, but as a leader in the company. Cam was hyped. To him, this was more than just a title. It was validation that his hard work was paying off. He had no reason to question it either. After all, the offer came straight from Dame Dash, one of Roc-A-Fella's co-founders. Why wouldn't he trust that it was legit? What Cam didn't know, however, was that Dame hadn't run this decision by Jay-Z, and that one crucial detail would change everything. At this point, Cam was making major moves in the industry. He had a keen business sense, understanding exactly how much money should be allocated to marketing, promotions, and the studio. In his own words, he was moving faster than almost any other artist on Roc-A-Fella's roster. So when Dame offered him the position, Cam saw it as yet another power play in his favor.
Nah, well, what happened was, I believe Dame was gonna make me the president of Roc-A-Fella.
That's his office. Was that has to do with this office you was talking about earlier?
No, we just housed the office.
He
housed the
built that
office.
off. That was a closet.
Okay, that wasn't the same time you was the president?
It never really came to fruition, me being the president.
You being the actual president.
But what Cam didn't expect was Jay-Z's reaction. Jay shut down the idea instantly, as if the very thought of Camron stepping into a leadership role at Roc-A-Fella was an insult. He didn't just disagree, he completely flipped out, shooting the idea down so fast you'd think Cam had personally tried to take over the entire label. In that moment, any lingering doubts that Cam had about Jay-Z holding him back vanished. If Jay hadn't been trying to block his success before, he definitely was now. But this was bigger than just Cam. See, this wasn't the first time people had accused Jay-Z of blocking others from rising in the industry. Over the years, multiple artists have come forward, claiming that Jay had stepped on them to get ahead. And when it came down to his own business partner, Dame Dash, the situation was even messier. Many believe that this moment, Dame trying to promote Cam without consulting Jay, was the final nail in the coffin for Roc-A-Fella. Dame had been Jay's biggest supporter from the beginning. When no one else believed in Jay-Z's music, Dame pushed his career forward, helping him build Roc-A-Fella from the ground up. The label was Dame's brainchild, and it didn't stop there. Together they launched Roc-A-Wear, their clothing brand, and multiple other businesses, turning them into multi-million-dollar empires. But somewhere along the way, everything changed. Jay started excluding Dame from major business decisions, claiming that he was too reckless with money and too hot-headed to handle certain deals. But others saw it differently. They believed Jay was simply setting the stage to take over the empire for himself. And when he immediately shot down the idea of Cam stepping into power, that just added fuel to the fire. This is where Gillie came in. He claims Jay-Z gathers a bunch of people on the lawn, then sneaks through the back door to collect the money, reinforcing his dominance in the industry. Gillie made it clear that he doesn't let anyone use his brand to elevate theirs and question what people actually gain from attending these high-profile events, other than a picture. He pointed out that Jay-Z only smiles in photos when he's with billionaires, implying that he doesn't genuinely associate with people unless they're on his level.
I said the Roc Nation brunch ain't of nothing but Jay-Z putting a bunch of on the lawn and then going in the back door and saying, I told you I still run this shit. Give me the money.
Wow.
You think I'm letting my brand?
This isn't the first time an artist has stepped forward with less than glowing memories of Jay-Z. Over the years, many in the industry have shared stories that paint a different picture of HOV. One that isn't all glitz, glam, and billionaire handshakes. And among those voices, none other than LL Cool J. If you don't know who LL Cool J is, let's take a moment to appreciate his legacy. Born James Todd Smith, LL Cool J is a hip-hop pioneer who helped shape the genre in the 80s and 90s, with hits like Mama Said, Knock You Out, and I Need Love. He blended hardcore rap with mainstream appeal, paving the way for future generations. But despite his contributions to hip-hop, LL Cool J has his own complicated history with Jay-Z, one that many fans might not be aware of.
Is it true that you and Jay-Z once battled in a lot in Manhattan, and you the verse from Funkadelic Relic, and him and his team laughed at you?
Now let's dive into the long, winding history between LL Cool J and Jay-Z. Their connection goes way back to the early days of hip-hop, when LL Cool J was one of the biggest stars at Def Jam Recordings. As one of the label's foundational artists, LL helped shape Def Jam into the powerhouse it became, laying the groundwork for future rap legends. His success wasn't just personal. It helped put the label on the map and gave many rising artists a platform. But as the years went by, things took a sharp turn, and LL's relationship with Def Jam, particularly under Jay-Z's leadership, started to fracture. In 2004, Jay-Z took over as president of Def Jam, a move that was celebrated by many in the industry. On paper, it made sense. One of the most successful rappers of all time, leading one of hip-hop's most iconic labels. But for LL Cool J, this transition wasn't a win. Instead of feeling like a respected veteran, LL felt ignored, underappreciated, and ultimately pushed to the side. He believed Jay-Z was more focused on signing new talent rather than supporting the artists who had built the label from the ground up. By 2007, LL Cool J had made his frustrations public. In an interview on VH1's Behind the Music, he didn't hold back about how deeply that situation affected him. That hurt. That was painful, and it created a lot of bruised blood in my spirit, he admitted. It wasn't just business, it was personal. By 2006, tensions had reached their peak. Jay-Z stepped down as president of Def Jam, but for LL Cool J, the damage was already done. He had made up his mind. Once his contract was up, he was leaving. His final album, with the label, Exit 13, dropped in 2008, marking the end of an era. The experience had drained him so much that LL Cool J even described Def Jam as a prison, making it clear how unhappy he had been with the label's direction. Things got so bad that even 50 Cent had to step in as a mediator. But before all this drama unfolded, LL Cool J and Jay-Z actually had a much different relationship, one that started with respect and admiration. Despite being close in age, LL Cool J was already a superstar by the time Jay-Z entered the scene. LL dominated the 1980s with hits like I Need Love and Going Back to Cali, while Jay-Z didn't release his debut album, Reasonable Doubt, until 1996. As both artists rose to legendary status, their paths inevitably crossed. While the details of their first meeting remain unclear, it's evident that they shared a mutual respect early on. In fact, Jay-Z even honored LL during his 2004 concert documentary by performing a rendition of I Need Love, a nod to LL's influence on the culture. But as time went on, their relationship became more complicated. Even though they've patched things up over the years, LL Cool J hasn't completely let go of the past. Their dynamic remains unpredictable. One moment they're seen together, and the next, LL is throwing subtle shade at Jay-Z. By 2020, however, LL seemed to have reached a place of understanding. Reflecting on their history, he shared, I don't have a bad vibe with homie, acknowledging that they both had matured. He dismissed any lingering grudges, saying, I have no malice. I'm like, it's all love from me, and I mean that sincerely. Still, their past has continued to spark curiosity. LL Cool J even addressed a long-standing rumor during an interview on Big Boy's Neighborhood, where he spoke about speculation that he used to laugh at Jay-Z's raps back in high school.
LL Cool J laughed at Jay-Z while
he was rapping in high school. I just saw this too.
But give your man a pass on that nonsense, man. It's ridiculous.
Hey, man.
I love everybody.
Right.
Look, I don't have no problems with none of these guys, man. Like, if I laughed, okay.
Did y'all go to the same high school?
I laughed at you, so now I can't have no brunch?
LL Cool J couldn't resist cracking this joke about the Roc Nation brunch, Jay-Z's exclusive pre-Grammy event where the biggest names in the industry gather. Interestingly, LL has never been invited, and his comments hinted at a lingering tension between them. But the drama didn't stop there. Just months after his remarks on Big Boy's Neighborhood, LL Cool J made headlines again when he called out veteran rappers for not performing enough. While he didn't name names, fans immediately speculated he was taking a shot at Jay-Z, reigniting debates about whether their old beef had ever truly been squashed. Fast forward to this year, and LL Cool J set the internet on fire with his appearance on Club Shay Shay, the go-to podcast for unfiltered celebrity revelations. During the interview, LL dropped a bombshell, claiming that Jay-Z once tried to eliminate him simply because he refused to join the club. While he didn't spell it out, many believe he was referring to Diddy's infamous underground gatherings, where Jay-Z had been a frequent guest. This revelation only fueled speculation about the industry's elite circles and the power plays happening behind closed doors. LL Cool J's refusal to be part of the secretive world seems to have put him at odds with some of the most influential figures in hip-hop, including Jay-Z himself. And with the swirling rumors about Jay-Z's involvement in Diddy's alleged activities, fans are starting to ask bigger questions. Could Jay-Z have been pulling the strings all along? While Diddy has been facing intense scrutiny, Jay-Z's connections to these events have raised eyebrows. But these whispers about Jay-Z aren't new. His past relationships have long been the topic of debate, especially his early days with Beyoncé. Some have even questioned the dynamics of his ties to Foxy Brown, hinting that there may have been more to the story than meets the eye. Then there's Tiara Marie, who was signed to Jay-Z's label at just 16. While she had a promising start, her sudden disappearance from the music scene left fans wondering what really happened. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's long-running feud with 50 Cent has remained a hot topic. Their beef dates back to 50's early diss tracks, with Jay-Z firing back in return. Over the years, their rivalry has escalated, leading to some unforgettable moments, including Beyoncé's unexpected involvement. Allegedly, she once confronted 50 Cent in Las Vegas, catching him completely off guard. The incident added another dramatic twist to an already heated conflict, leaving fans wondering just how deep the tension between these two rap moguls really runs. Now, speaking of Beyoncé, it's impossible to ignore the whirlwind of rumors surrounding her relationship with Jay-Z. For years, their marriage has been dissected by fans and insiders alike, with some believing it's more of a strategic business alliance than a true love story. But recently, the speculation has taken a darker turn, especially after some shocking claims from someone who was once very close to Beyoncé, her former bodyguard, Uncle Ron.
Your relationship was a business relationship, financial. But I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She's been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way.
Uncle Ron, who was entrusted with Beyoncé's safety for years, has come forward with explosive allegations that have left fans and the industry in shock. According to him, Jay-Z played a significant role in introducing Beyoncé to various substances, a move that he claims was a deliberate attempt to control and manipulate her. This isn't just a casual accusation. Uncle Ron paints a picture of a woman struggling with substance use, not as a matter of personal choice, but as a consequence of her husband's influence. The idea that Jay-Z might have perpetuated this pattern to maintain his dominance over Beyoncé is deeply troubling. It evokes comparisons to the harrowing accusations made by Cassie against Diddy, where she alleged that he had kept her supplied with substances and alcohol, leading to dangerous addictions that nearly destroyed her life. The parallels between these two situations are striking and disturbing, raising questions about the dynamics of power and control in relationships that, on the surface, appear glamorous and enviable. But the story doesn't end there. Jay-Z's name has been entangled in a web of connections and events that seem almost too intricate to be coincidental. Take, for example, the mysterious case of Kathy White, a woman whose sudden death sparked a flurry of rumors. There were whispers that she was involved with Jay-Z, and her demise was suspiciously timed. Then there's Diddy, who seems to be a recurring figure in these shadowy tales, and Claudia Jordan, another name that keeps cropping up in the conversation. With all this being said, it's easy to believe that Jay-Z might be even worse than Diddy behind closed doors. Let's be real, even back then, a lot of people never thought Diddy was capable of all the allegations surrounding him now. So, if that turned out to be true, what does that say about Jay-Z? Especially considering that Jay once mentored Diddy, it makes you wonder, could this be bigger than what we've seen before? The industry has always been filled with whispers about the power plays and secrets these moguls keep hidden. And then there's Camron and Gillie. Did Jay-Z and Diddy really threaten them? That's the question that keeps resurfacing. Camron has always been vocal about industry politics, and Gillie has hinted at behind-the-scenes power moves that keep certain people in check. If these two were ever pressured or threatened, it wouldn't be shocking, considering how deep and powerful these connections run. At this point, it's hard to ignore the patterns. If Diddy's downfall is just the beginning, what happens when the spotlight fully turns to Jay-Z?